What's going on, guys? Mini Call here coming at you with another video. This one is going to be kind of a follow-up video to yesterday's multiple man unlock and red star opening. So we are currently in a war, so I am planning to take him into a war fight, and just kind of want to go over his kit just a little bit more than I did do yesterday. So when we're looking at him, I still haven't leveled him up that much higher, just because I don't want to max out on gold for the milestones. So I think I actually have enough to take him to at least gear tier 12, possibly even gear tier 13. But just kind of holding off on that until 7 o'clock for server reset for me. But so looking at his kit, this one is kind of a standard basic. His helping hand kind of depends more on Polaris and clearing all negative effects from himself. But this one right here, this one-man army, is going to be primarily only kind of it'll be not only relevant, but it'll be a lot more powerful in the actual wars. So when you're looking here, he applies offense up and counter all X Factor allies and dupe allies. And then, actually, I'm sorry, that's not the one I'm thinking of. It's actually his passive. Sorry about that. So it's his passive, actually, that is more very war dependent. So when you're looking at it, if you T4 it, obviously the healing for 5%, that is in all game modes, which that is going to be an incredibly strong passive. Let me actually see where I'm at gold-wise. And so we could spend 300,000. Yeah, so let's pop him up to at least his passive, and then we can kind of really test him out a little bit better. So anyway, so boom, we got that. We will do his passive real quick. And so this passive is going to do a couple things. The biggest thing, it's going to heal for 5% every time a dupe is killed, which they should be dying fairly regularly. On top of that, with the healer ISO 8 class, if you max him out at ISO 8 level 5, that's going to increase his healing by 15% for every dupe that is killed. And then also in our wars, he is going to summon an additional dupe when he's attacked. On spawn, he's actually going to summon 2 dupes right from the get-go. You're going to gain 30% resistance, and X Factor allies will also gain 30% resistance. So really kind of like makes him a lot beefier, and then with the resistance, obviously, he is going to be resisting any debuffs. So, which is good because until you actually unlock Polaris, there's no way for him to clear debuffs from himself. I obviously am working towards getting him to ISO 8 level 5. I just need to actually farm this ion right here, and I'm almost there. I need another 15 ions, and I'll be good to go. So just kind of looking at the ISO 8 class as healer, kind of what that gets him. So right off the bat, as a base, he's going to gain 5% to active healing, which when his dupes die, it is going to be active healing. So right there, with the 5% he has already in his passive, that puts him up to 10%. Level 3 gets him another 5%, so that's 15. So actually my math was a little bit off. And at level 5, he's going to gain an additional 10. So that's going to give him 25% healing per dupe that is killed. So literally he is going to recover a quarter of his health every time a dupe is killed. So let's go in. We'll do a war fight. I haven't tested them out in war. I've obviously played around with X Factor, Longshot and Shatterstar, rather. I've played around with them a little bit, so let's see what we have for targets. And I don't want to do anything. I don't want to punch up anything too crazy, just because, obviously we are trying to win this war that we are currently fighting. So let's see. This should be a really easy fight, but let's go in with the defenders, I think, is going to be kind of what we're going to go for, and I'm not too sure why that's not loading in. Bear with me just a second, y'all. All right, that's why it wasn't loading in. Someone was already doing that attack. So let's see. I guess, you know what? Let's give it a whirl. Let's try this Merc team. It should be a bit... That's actually a really big punch up. I'm not looking to punch up that... or punch down that low. Let's see. What are their other options? So we've got a 320k Asgardian. Let's go ahead in the reactor. Let's see how they do against Black Order. Yeah, I'm not 100% sold on that either. Sorry about this, guys. Let me just find a more appropriate war target. I'm going to wait for Malik to finish his attack. So actually, while we're just kind of waiting for a better war attack to present itself, we're going to go in real fast into U7. And I was thinking about a U7 alternative kind of raid team. And what I was thinking about was... the kind of very interesting dynamic that Multiple Man presents, in the sense that, when he dies, he is getting healed, when his dupes die, rather. So what I was kind of thinking about is kind of this odd hybrid team with Minerva. And the thinking behind that is Minerva actually gets speed up whenever an ally dies. This does include summons. So the way this should work is whenever any of the Multiple Men dupes die, Minerva should be getting speed up. And, Multiple Man himself will be getting healed as well. So I think this should be kind of an interesting little hybrid team. For myself, my symbiotes and my Axemen can basically get through all of U7 with no problems. Mini is still having kind of an RNG based issue, where some days I can kind of get all the way up to the third boss node, and then other days it just does not go as well. Which it's, pure RNG, which, to me says that the team isn't quite there yet. So this is something I'm kind of considering as like an alternative team for Dracarys. Or I'm sorry, not for Dracarys, for Minicall. Dracarys actually has the Axemen at almost 300k, and they're actually pretty much able to handle U7 when the symbiotes kind of wipe out. So far, we haven't really been attacked too much with my Multiple Men, so I'm going to save that ultimate probably for the next fight. Now, the Multiple Men are not able to, at least the dupes are not able to crit, and, I think for obvious reasons, if you had, up to 9 potential allies on the field that are all critting, it would really kind of make X Factor even more insane than they already are. So this first little playthrough, we didn't really get to test out too much. Let's see. I would say, sorry guys, I'm just answering a question on chat. I would say Sinister, you can kind of put him with any team, especially if you don't have the Marauders yet. Do you have Emma? So just kind of going into a secondary fight, that one went a little bit too smoothly for me. Was kind of hoping more for a little more conflict. So let's see how this fight goes. Alright, so let's see, we loaded in. So we lost our long shot, which is not too big of a deal. We'll res him in just a second with Minerva's passive, or her special. So let's see, we've got one dupe on the field. our long shot is looking kind of wounded over here. So let's get some crits going. Get some heals. I'm gonna pop multiple man's ultimate and get some dupes on the field. And I've got to look. I think I must be missing maybe a T4 because it doesn't seem like my dupes are spawning with taunt, and I could have sworn they were supposed to spawn with taunt. So I'll have to look at that real fast. Anyway, so let's see the special. Okay, so I guess it's a special that causes the dupes to get taunt. All right, so we got that going. So far, the team is kind of doing kind of what I expected. Again, the multiple man that I do have is a bit on the weaker side. All right. Sorry, we're going in. So far, like I said, it's going pretty well. The dupes are definitely taking a lot of the hits, and you'll notice here. So like we just had a dupe die. Minerva did get some speed up, so that's going to kind of help her keep up with the X Factor characters because they're just very fast in general. And then when you start adding crits into the occasion, or the equation rather, the X Factor team starts just getting faster and faster. So it's kind of my thinking to kind of get a character that would be able to kind of somewhat keep up with them and basically still provide, because like this team doesn't really heal on its own. So that was kind of the logic behind bringing in Minerva. But yeah, so I mean, I would say so far it's going pretty good as like an alternative, like old U7 team. Obviously, it is not a farmable team, since Shatterstar and Longshot are not technically farmable at the moment. Multiple man, when his event starts up, typically, I would say most people are able to get a 4-star unlock from those type of event campaigns. So that can definitely get him going. And then it looks like Polaris is going to be a strike pass release. So it is going to be a while before we have access to Polaris. So yeah, so it's definitely kind of just like, I guess, an alternative if your kind of main raid team wipes out, and just kind of give some alternatives. But yeah, so I mean, the team's functioning kind of, what I would expect it to. I don't think it's going to be like this crazy, like meta U7 team, or at least it doesn't seem to be right now. But definitely has potential to just kind of have a little sustain, get some good damage in, and kind of if you lose your main team, they're not too bad of a backup team. So we're going to finish off this fight real quick. I don't want the timer to go out and essentially lose a attempt, and then we will pop back over into the war and see if there is a better war target for me, and yeah, we'll just kind of keep on going. All right, so let's see. So going on in, let's see if we've got a better war target going. All right. So just bear with me as this kind of loads in. And yeah, so then we will kind of just go in and see what Multiple Man does in war. Like I said, I definitely think this team is going to come together rather a lot better with essentially the full team. But so far with the characters we have, they're doing pretty well. I'm feeling a little daring, and let's go in and see what they do against the Marauders. So right now, I've got this team as 3 X Factor. I've got Ultron in here, and let's go ahead. We'll bring in Minerva as our 5th, and we'll see how they do. I'm not expecting too much. I don't think the team like this is really kind of designed to be this Marauders counter. It is a pretty big punch up. So there's a possibility I will kind of quit this war fight and not burn the or not waste the team if it is looking kind of rough. With all of these kind of debuffs going too, the team doesn't have a way to cleanse these. So really, the only thing that's going to cleanse this stuff is essentially time. So we shall see. Cool thing though, since this is a war fight, Multiple Man did spawn with 2 dupes, and which is pretty cool. Our Multiple Man did just get cloned, which that is not a good thing. So we're going to probably want to get rid of that quickly. I could definitely see that being kind of like a very big downside to going against the Marauders, is if Sinister clones your Multiple Man, it's going to be essentially as if the way your own old Multiple Man works, and you're going to have all these dupes on the field, and we definitely don't want that. So I'm definitely not thinking that this was probably a smart idea on my end. We did lose our main Multiple Man, and let me see. It's kind of crazy on their side of the field. So let's see. That is a dupe. Let's just go ahead and see if we can get rid of some of these dupes. And then I think the main one is right here. But yeah, this was a bad choice on my end. Definitely not a Marauders counter by any means. We'll see if we can kind of do anything, but it's looking pretty rough. We'll do his ult, get the bunch of Multiple Men on the field. And let's see. Yeah, this is pretty ugly. See if we can get some crits going, maybe get long shot going, which I think long shot's about to die over here. Let's see. Okay, we're basically kind of just like slowly clearing the dupes out of the way. I'm going to go in on the main cloned Multiple Man and see if I can get rid of him. And then we will kind of go back in and try to get rid of some of the rest of this team. But like I said, I don't think this is probably a good attempted counter for the Marauders, just because I said that clone is definitely, you run the risk of Multiple Man getting cloned, and the Marauders in general are very dependent on being able to get rid of Sinister and Strife pretty early on, and then with all these clones, it just makes it kind of really messy. Multiple Man himself, he does have some pretty good sustain. He is still living through this, but let's go ahead and quit this. Kind of bombed that fight. That was no bueno. So let's go and do something, I guess, a little bit more realistic. And, it's just always interesting to kind of see with a new team what they can counter, what they can punch up against. All right, let's go in. Let's see. Asgardians should be pretty doable, I think. But obviously a punch down, so that's about 100k punch down on this one. There's plenty of counters to the Asgardians right now. Symbiotes, the Axemen are probably 2 of the easiest ones. Shadowlands, I think, from what I've heard, does a pretty good punch up to the Asgardians as well. And we did have our 2 multiple men dupes summon with the start of the war fight, and that is part of his passive that only applies in war. But that's pretty cool that he just starts off the fight right off the bat with 2 clones, or 2 dupes rather. I think what I'm going to do, because the dupes are a little slow, so I think I'm going to do a basic first, and then what I'm going to do is on his next turn, I'm going to do his ult, and then his ult will basically get all of those multiple men clones out, and then they should taunt, and it should be a good time on the field. Minerva is getting a lot of speed up due to the dupes dying. And then the only thing I wasn't thinking about when I initially selected this team is that I put Ultron on the team, and I clearly wasn't thinking because Ultron also has a very strong summon mechanic, and was kind of stupid to bring a character that is going to summon and basically take away from the multiple men dupe spots. So that was a bit stupid on my part. I'm not too sure what I was thinking on that end. But yeah, I mean, this is a pretty clear-cut fight. I don't know how much of this is per se because of multiple man and how much per se was because of the dad bros. But, and again, it was also a big punch down. But they handled the fight really well. Multiple man, when you start getting some dupes on the field, really starts getting some really awesome healing. So I'll be really curious to see how this team continues to develop, and can certainly do some additional raid testing and that kind of stuff if you guys are interested. So thank you so much for watching. If you did find this video helpful and you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. As always, take it easy. Hope everyone is having a good one. And again, thanks for watching.